Well, welcome to Retired Tranquil in Thailand YouTube channel and the Race Country Cottage landscaping update and a bit about life in rural Thailand over the last 3 months. The last video I did was in June, and I kind of thought that would be the end of it, with the house completed and some of the landscaping done. But I thought after having kind of medical challenges over the last 3 months and not being able to do anything too much, I thought I'd do an update because the landscaping and the gardens have grown quite a bit over the rainy season, and we've added a few more features around the yard to fill it in and make it look good. So I thought some people might be interested in what we've done. So come along and have a look. I'll wander around the garden shortly and show you what's happening, what we've added, and how things have grown over the last 3 months. Thanks for joining me, and cheers. Well, welcome to the Race Country Cottage garden tour and update. So this is the house from the corner, and the yard as it's grown over the past 3 months. New kind of feature here in front of us. 3-rail fence with an old wagon wheel. There's some plants to go in the back, just waiting on them to arrive. So let's step through the garden and see what's changed. So here we are at the front entry gate. I just pan down to the side here. You can see the foxtail palms. They're about at least double the size than they were. And they're planted about in April. And you can see along the fence line here is scented pines. So we've planted 200 of them along the fence line. They're going to act as a great screen when they grow. You can see here on the walkway, there's some scented pines on each side. They've grown quite a bit since they were put in. So I think it'll make a nice screening, so you won't be able to actually see through the fence. And you know, it's really up to us how high we let them grow. So on each side of the pathway are some bougainvillea. There's a nice flowering, beautiful plant in the dry season. When there's not much water, they're just covered in flowers. And there's one between those trees as well. So they're only a very, very tiny plant. They've grown about 10 times the size from when they were first put in. So we just walk over towards the new feature garden with a 3-rail fence. And just look at the silver oaks that go up this side of the fence line. They're about 3 times the size, or maybe 4 times the size from three months ago. So we've had rainy season, lots of rain, and that's really helped. All the trees that were planted are growing quite well, as you can see. Grass is really nice. Gets fertilized, use 15-15-15 every, I don't know, 3 months. And maybe urea in between, keeps it nice and green. Paper bark trees, they're really filled out in terms of the leaf cover. You know, they're pretty well bare when they came in, but now they're full. So they've taken well. These are only at just ground level, about 2 or 3 inches high. Now they've grown fully and starting to blossom. There'll be a nice mass of color when they all come out. Now we did have a Kind of a new addition here. We've put in these ornamental elephants. There will be a walkway that comes up from the front of the house. It'll continue along its path up between these elephants to the front steps when I get around to it. So, found those on the way back on a trip to Can for some medical attention, and found a shop on the side of the road. It's about 2.5 hours away, and the shop delivered these for us. So it's about a 5-hour trip for the delivery, but no problem. The gardens that we planted at the front of the house, they've all started to, fully mature and fill in. There was big gaps before, but now you can see. I don't think this fountain was here originally. There was a smaller one. We moved that to the back and put in this long, higher tiered fountain. Looks pretty good. There was a tree, a fruit tree, that we had planted over here. You can see the hole in the ground. It became diseased. We've moved it to the back forest and just waiting on a champaka tree to arrive, probably later this coming week, to go in. And the little garden bed here is like the others, pretty well filled in. Happy with the way things are going. So we'll just walk back around to the side and the back of the backyard. See how things are maturing there. A couple of small trees in here. Mayum tree. And that's a champaka, the small one there I'm looking at. Silver oaks on this side not doing as well. They've been all had manure put in them, so maybe they'll start to mature a bit better. Yeah, I think they're on the hillside, so the rain runoff affects their growth. My partner's mother, that's her banana plantation next to us. Kind of plantings around the septic area on this side of the house. And then there's a pathway to the mother-in-law that we put in. And we're going to put stepping stones in the grass up to the back porch. So the large tree in the back, of course, is all full of leaves given it's summertime. And the hedge that we planted, it's finally starting to take off by the fire pit. And the trees are all maturing and growing, as is everything else back here. We've got a couple of gardenia gardens started here at the back. So the gardenias, the multicolored gardenia, they've only just gone in. So when they mature, that'll fill all this up. And this is our pet cemetery at the back of the house, where our cat and my English cream golden retriever are laying to rest. My dog died a couple of months ago, unfortunately, in July, when we were in Bangkok on doing some medical activity. He was boarding, apparently just passed away in his sleep. Nice way to go, but a bit early. He's only 12 years old, so certainly a loss. And just along the back fence line here, our property goes right to the back to that big tree you can see on the left, and the high trees. We've just planted some plantings along here, so when they grow up, it'll just kind of cover the fence line. We just leave the back for now. Not sure what we'll do. Will we do anything with it or just leave it? And we've got the scented pines planted as well across the back, as you can see here. they're growing quite well. Just another kind of edge or border to the back property, the backyard. These silver button trees, they're starting to grow. We've added this backyard feature. There's just a sitting area with some plants around it. Probably put some paving stones under the bench in due course. So here you can get a sense of these scented pines. They were only, 6 inches or so when we planted them, and see how they've grown. So that's what they'll look like around the edge of our fence. We just have to work out how high we let them grow. Everything else looking fairly nice and mature. Happy with the progress. And outdoor picnic table and cooking area. Another gardenia garden going in here. And this brings us around to the driveway and garage entry part. The hedging along here is growing quite nicely. They were only very short to the ground when they went in, and back in probably, January, February. And so they're starting to grow nicely. And some new pots to add to the gardening. So there you have it, a bit of an outside tour, including the laundry, out to dry on a nice sunny day. So I hope you enjoyed having a look at how things have matured over the last three months. Cheers. And here we have a different perspective from the balcony at the front of the house. Really nice. It's got the morning sun here, but lovely in the afternoon when the sun's at the back of the house. To sit out and relax, look over the property, have a cold drink. So the old man chair and old man lounge at the end there. Come out here in the afternoon around 5 o'clock, checking out the quiet activity of the yard and the passing traffic. Let's go check the back porch and see what the view's like. So here we are coming out on the back porch. This is a great spot in the morning because the sun's at the front of the house. Good for breakfast or dinner after the sun goes down. But I like to have my coffee and morning fruit bowl sitting out here, checking out the back. So we've put these shades cloths in just to keep the glare down from the sun. They do quite a good job. So just sitting up on the balcony, a bit higher, looking out over the property. Enjoy the views, tranquil for sure. So let's have a look. So a little closer to home now. As I mentioned in the video, we lost our dog Lex. He was a great mate of mine for 12 years. Over the time in Thailand, being retired, having a dog was fun. And he was really good over the last 3 months when lots of medical issues. So those issues took us to Bangkok and for 3 times to see the urologist that had taken out my prostate and subsequently had radiation treatment that looks like it's damaged the bladder and the muscles and things that control all the waterworks. So I was admitted for a cystoscopy operation to go in and see what was going on with the bladder and urethra. It was a bit narrow, so it was dilated. No strictures. So things were fixed up somewhat. My local urologist asked me to go to Concan to have a urodynamic test, so we took off for a few days last month to see the urologist at the university hospital. Must say that was a breath of fresh air. We saw him in the morning, and he happy to do the procedure in the afternoon. Very undignified testing, but worthwhile. Long and short, it told me that the bladder and the muscles that control all the waterworks are very, very weak and not functioning properly due to the damage from the radiation and surgery. Anyway, things are working somewhat now, but I have to learn to live with it. We did enjoy a bit of our time in Concan, went to the large market for food and shopping, toured around town, enjoyed some Chinese food before heading back, 5-hour trip. Close to home, there's a new rail line being constructed, and it'll pass within 300 meters of our house. So they've started clearing the right-of-way for the tracks. It'll be interesting to watch over the next few years. Thanks for watching. See you next time.